Mansar Pass to Barot Valley. I'll jump over from Barot, from Rajgunda to Lohardi over the Noru Pass. I'll take the Sari Pass to the Luk Valley, then I'll take the Bubu Pass back into Kulu. So you can make like 1 week, 2 week continuous sequences of individual hiking routes. You can stitch them all together. So many routes have been mapped around the Himalayas from Kashmir to Uttarakhand to Nepal that you can make month-long traverses combining individual segments. And this is a beautiful website. When you go home, you'll always use your laptop and websites. You don't really plan on a little tiny phone screen. You use a big paper map, or you use any of these websites. There are hundreds of websites which basically show the same open street maps. In this case, optimized for hiking. I can switch from hiking to cycling, and I can start planning my biking or cycling trip. There are different sports here. Hiking trails, mountain biking trails, road cycling trails, skiing trails, horse riding trails. OpenStreetMaps is intersport, not specific to hiking alone. See some good students updating their workbook.
So mostly you use this to plan like the trail, and then like OSM for navigation on when you're
so I will use a website called nakarte.me, because this is still read only. Here I can find information, click on a trail and see the distance and the elevation gain, but I want to put dots, right? I want to say this is the pass, this is my food point, here I put up my campsite. So I'm going to start putting markers on the flag, points of interest they call them, POIs. I'll do that on the laptop, and then I can export it as a GPX file, and I can put it in my phone and switch off the network and I'm gone. So you can plan on the laptop, navigate on the phone, come back, record your route, and again map it on the laptop. Big screen is always easier when you're planning like multi-day, week-long traverses, or if you want to understand the geography, that is also better than looking at a small screen. But everything is possible on the phone, right? I can also plan on my phone. It's just that I have to constantly zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. Next.
Which application do you use for GPX import?
Every app, every website supports GPX. It's a standard XML. It's a text format which has a sequence of lat-longs, latitude and longitudes, which describes a trail. When you're going to go out today in six two-member teams, I'll ask you to record your trail so that at the end of the day we can compare 6 teams, how you all went through different ways to accomplish a certain mission. So recording it, what is the recording? Is the same as a GPX file, which is a sequence. Every 10 seconds you're gonna just take.
As in battery usage wise, GPS logger.
Yeah.
On Android, I don't know.
That's a possibility. So I used GeoTracker.
GeoTracker. Okay.
Also, there are multiple. Some are a bit more battery intensive, some are a bit less battery intensive. There is a built-in recorder in OSM AMD in the app, but then that can be a little draining on the battery. That's okay for a 2-hour hike, not really for multi-day. If you have a watch, record on the watch, just use the phone for navigation, for example. Nakarte, a very nice website. If you go home, have a look. You have all the layers there, OpenStreetMap, different views. You have survey maps, you have contours, plus, you can make your own trails here. Look, here, this is Pete, that 65-year-old guy. I just made a little traverse for him. Like 1 or 2 years ago, just to go through the Himis National Park here in Zanskar. So you map it, you export it, and you're good to go. Tuk, 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 tuk. You don't need to draw the whole trail, just the pass, food point, that's all you need to know. Campsites, don't plan it too much in advance. You don't know where you're gonna end up at the end of the day. There are hundreds of campsites. 1 or 2 hours before sunset, start looking for a flat space next to a stream. Pitch down your tent. Hydration also, there is water everywhere in the Himalayas. You're gonna cross 8 water points every single day, so there's no point carrying heavy water. It's 1 kg per liter of water. Don't carry kgs of water and then carry it from this stream to the next stream. Doesn't make sense. Next, let's keep going. Time is ticking here. Heck, you can also map, as I told you, to overclock. We still have 3 hours minus lunch. So you can map, you can record a little trail, drag and drop it. You can log into this website osm.org, the standard, the default website, login with your account, and you can start mapping. Map a line, map a point, map a campsite, map a trail, map a stream, map a forest, map a district, map a punch out border, whatever. Anything can be mapped. You tag it with the right tags, and voila, it pops up on everybody's map. If you map a trail here, anyone in the world downloading the map of Himachal will see your new trail. Very powerful, right? You are part of the community. Try to do that in the future, right? You're inheriting 800 trails. Why don't you contribute something back to the community? Next, voila. So there are multiple different apps here. So I used Orux in the past, some other things. Any European in Ladakh will be using Maps.me. Very basic one. This is more like mid-level. Geit is a bit more advanced. I kind of feel a bit more towards OSM EMD. Yeah. So we're going to use this one, but feel free to experiment with other apps. It's all the same contours and OpenStreetMaps as the base layer. And then you can put a lot of overlay maps. You can bring in satellite, you can bring in survey maps, you can bring in other layers on top of your base map. Next. Voila. So OpenStreetMap, it's a powerful, it's a Swiss knife, you can say, for hiking. So we have portability, right? We cannot carry a laptop, or I cannot carry this 3D model. No, I have an easy to carry phone. It has a GPS receiver, which shows my position, blue dots. I have offline maps, I have offline contours. I can plan something, I can even route, right? Just like you route from here to the bus stand, I can use OSM to route via a trail automatically. It will follow a hiking trail or a cycling trail, depending how you are moving, traveling. I can overlay different maps, I can overlay GPX file with routes. Somebody went somewhere, he recorded the trail, he can send it, share it to me, he can share his plan to me. And I can record my routes, and I can start looking at food points, water points, campsites, etc. So all in one Swiss knife, I would say, for the independent hiker. Will learn everything step by step. It can be a little overwhelming. The phone is scalable, it's a vector map. You can look at the whole of Himachal, you can also look at the Manali, Kulu Valley. You can also look at one single trail here, and when you're gonna navigate, you can see a little scale at the bottom, right, that keeps zooming in and zooming out. You might be looking at 100 meters, you can be looking at 5 kilometers, you can be looking at 200 kilometers on the scale. So it's a scalable map, while a paper map is always a fixed scale, people. When you're looking at the paper map, I cannot zoom in and bring up more detail, right? In case of OSM, when you look at the geography of a state, it'll only show like glaciers and forests and peaks. In order to see the trails and the villages and campsites, you'll have to zoom in. Only when you zoom in, it can show more detail. It cannot show the campsites, it cannot show 10,000 campsites at a top level. So at every zoom level, more and more details will pop up, which is not the case with a paper map. A paper map has certain details. So paper map is either fixed at geography level, you can say, at maybe valley, 1 week hike planning, or at navigation level. When you go at navigation, you'll always walk. Keep that scale at maximum 100 meters. Don't say, Peter, I'm not able to find the way. Yeah, if you're at 2 kilometers, you're not going to be able to compare your position with your trail, right? So you need to be at 100 meter max for navigation. Only then you can actually accurately see what you're, where you are and where you're heading to. Next, but still paper maps are good. They don't need a battery, they don't need electronics. So a paper map can save your life if something happens to a phone. So don't lose touch with paper maps. We have a special session on map reading and compass using topographic maps. Ooh, and look at this.
Peter, on the paper maps, are these available for buying today? I was actually checking for those. That will be a booklet or a single map.
That is a foldable map, hey, because that's a huge map, so it's foldable. I'll show you how they look.
Okay.
So Ladakh has an active international hiking community for the last 2-3 decades, simply because there were good Swiss Olysee maps available. A guy called Abraham. used to create those, not to scale, not as precise as OSM. OSM is GPS, satellite precision. Many of these maps, like the survey maps, right, from the 18th century, they are of course not like satellite generated. They use other techniques. Look here, Baramangal, nice remote village, probably the most remote in Himachal, surrounded by the Pir Panjal to the north, the Dolador on the south and the east. The beginning of, I mean not the beginning, along the Ravi River here. Look at survey maps, right? See all these lines? These are all like little gullies, water canals. You'll see names of forests, names of village, names of rivers, names of dars, which is basically ridge lines. You'll see streams, you'll see dotted trails, you'll see cultivated land, you'll see individual buildings. Imagine buildings, individual mud houses mapped 200 years ago. You'll see the type of forest, what tree is there, the density of the forest. So survey maps are like a treasure of information for you, keeping in mind that they don't have the same GPS precision as your modern day OpenStreetMaps. So this will be second level for you if you want to explore something new. Pick up a survey map. That's what I do. I hate OSM because it's too simple. You know somebody has gone there, recorded it, and you just walk in somebody's footsteps. That's like Geit is big no. Recorded trail. Also, you're actually following a digital guide. The thrill of exploring something new is solo freedom. Exploring is like you're the first guy. I mean, you're not the first. The shepherd is there, and the local guy who is grazing his buffaloes from here to there to the meadows. But you're at least there, like really going very minimal and very like you just using something that is not 100% accurate. So you never know whether the trail exists. The trail might be 100 meters higher or lower, and it's not precisely mapped. So that gives a lot of thrill basically to explore something, and you don't know what to expect. I mapped around, like Uttarakhand, I mapped around 3,000 kilometers in OSM using survey maps. Wonderful, 90% precision, imagine, 2 centuries old. Unbelievable how they did it. And we're talking about really remote stuff, right? Like glaciers and remote places, steep regions.
What does the fixed scale mean here, like 1:50K?
Yeah, so 1 unit on the map equals to 50,000 units on the ground, which basically means 1 centimeter on a survey map is 500 meters on the ground. That's the thing with every map, like say Olizane here is 1 by 150,000. So 1 centimeter on the map is 1.5 kilometers. Multiply a centimeter by 50,000 and it becomes 500 meters. So those are fixed scale maps, also survey. You can get it on your phone, but you cannot zoom it in, zoom it out. It's not scalable, right? If you zoom out too much, it's going to be blurred. I think before we look at contour lines, let's have lunch. We'll continue in 20 minutes with some basics of topography, and we'll start doing some planning. Next slide. Voila. Whatever you see here is ridges, people. All these lines that you see with the naked eye, getting more fuzzy because of the something is there in the air, fog or whatever. Yeah. So these are all ridges. These are all lines, and you can see they are quite gradual. They are not as steep. Yes, the landscape is quite steep on left and right of the ridge, but on top of the ridge is usually especially in the foothills of the Himalayas, the Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, so very gentle slopes. And we can see the peaks, we can see the saddle, we can see another peak, peak, saddle, peak, saddle. So ridges go up and down, or ridges might also get down and finish in the valley. A ridge separates two valleys. Where these two valleys join, that's where the ridge ends, right? Because once the valleys join as a new stream, then the ridge cannot continue. So you have ridges that keep on going, but you also have ridges that die as the two neighboring valleys join together.
A
Next.
ridge line is always above tree line, right?
3D satellite, right? You can always overlay, swipe your fingers to see 3D, and 3D is very easy to see. All these ridges, all these lines here, these are all like ridge lines. Mostly also, like here the light source is a bit aligned with the ridge, so you don't have light shadow. But usually you will see shade on one and light on another one. The line in between is your ridge line. Here clearly visible, right? Light, shadow. Because the sun is coming from the southeast somewhere. Next.
Peter, one out.
Yeah.
So the more bigger the U is, the more wider it is.
Correct. If you have a long U, right? Again, don't say this is a narrow or a big ridge. Remember, always look at your horizontal scale. Am I looking at 2 kilometers? Am I looking at 20 meters? Huge difference. But if relatively speaking, a narrow ridge, like a very sharp U, will be a smaller ridge, or maybe a bit more tricky to walk on. Ridges are usually, I mean, these are natural big features in the landscape. Compared to a human being, we are very small. We can walk on most of the ridges because they will at least be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meters long, mostly 100 meters wide. Wide, not long.
Peter, one doubt here.
Yeah.
For a peak, we have a contour pattern as a circle, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, for a lake as well, do we see a circle?
Yeah, so it's, you could say a volcano, like a volcano, right, which has a water point that can collect water. A lake is more in a valley, so we'll come to valleys later.
Okay.
So when you see a circle pattern, be careful, right? It could be indeed a peak, but it could also be in Indonesia, where you have the ring of the volcano and then you go down. So before you make a conclusion, you should actually check the numbers, whether if the numbers are going down, then you have a lake or like a volcano, you can say. Lakes mostly will be not that visible because lakes are flat and are in the valley, so they will be more like spaced contours in a valley. But a volcano is also a circle. So of course volcanoes are very rare here. Whenever you see a circle here, it's going to be a peak, not really like a depression, right? A depression, that's what we want to say.
Peter, you were talking about the volcano.
Already put water flow in valleys, so valleys are like easy to spot, just look at the streams. Ridges will be in between, right? So again, U, inverted U, U, inverted U, U, inverted U, any U is a ridge line, and on many cases you'll see dot, 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 dotted, usually a trail on different maps. So they will use these ridges because it's widely spaced, so it's very gradual. Look, right side of the ridge, steep, left side also medium, but on the ridge itself, widely spaced, easy way to walk to the peak. They will actually start from the peak, by the way, right? A ridge line is always born on the peak. So from the peak you will have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, multiple ridges drop down from the peak as U-shaped contours. Next. Can you tell me which is a ridge here?
The first slide, for left one.
Yeah, correct, right? We see a U shape. What about this? What is this?
This is
That
a
also a
valley.
ridge.
Valley.
Look carefully.
No. Both are ridges.
Yeah, I'm playing with you, right?
Yes.
So be
Because
very
you have to
careful.
look from lower altitude to higher altitude.
Exactly.
That is where you should be.
So never look at you, never assume this is the high side. North has nothing to do with high. High can be east, can be west, can be south, can be north. So always look at the numbers. Low to high is the U shape. So just want to trick you here. Never correlate steepness or shallows. Shallows and direction are independent of steepness and terrain features, please. Next slide.
Could you
Sorry.
repeat that? Shallows and are independent of?
Well, like shallows, never look at the shallow. Some people think, oh, it's dark there, it's steep or something like that. So topography, like steepness, ridges, peaks, has nothing to do with the north, the south, the east, they are independent of that, and they also have nothing to do with the shading. Shading just brings all these things, but the shades can be, depending on the light source, can be in different places. Yeah. Well, and if you look at 3D, you can clearly see that you have the ridge line right here. Here it comes down. Water drops this side, water drops that side. So ridges indeed, like you can have a forest here, really low altitude, but in many cases it will be like a meadow. And you'll find shepherds here. Shepherds will be grazing these meadows. And a little down where more water collects, you'll see lush green forest inside the valleys. Two valleys separating one ridge line. A high line, a valley is a low line in the landscape. Next slide. Well, and then satellite, you can clearly see that ridge line, right? Once you go to 3D and you mark your ridge, you can clearly see it as a high line.
So you use this as like a confirmation tool, right?
Yeah, this is always confirmation. I never want to see anyone planning using 3D satellite. I know it's very tempting because you can
See clearly.
correlate it with the reality. Not precise, not precise. Always learn, you need to learn two-dimensional contours. Everything can be extracted from there and much more precisely. So trail planning for tomorrow's campsite, 2D contours, no satellite map. Voila. Whatever we do here in the class, please do it on paper, homework. Next slide. Okay, next slide. We're already at valleys now, okay? Go back to Ringali, assignment, identity. First of all, the light is on the northwest. That becomes more complicated. Shallow.
It's misleading.
It could be misleading, right? Because here I'm twisting around the north and the south. So just look at the shape. Shape will always be sure. All right, next. And then also you can always go to 3D. And you'll see the peaks connected with ridges. And in between two ridges, there always has to be a valley, right? Because these divide the water. These define the basin, actually, the watershed area. Any water that flows on inside these ridges will be drained by this river. The river drains the water that is bound by its neighboring ridges.
If you look at the sections, वो देख के लग नहीं रहा कि valley है, but exactly वो valley है. वो concept of low and high and you should be used in that.
Valley has dark forest, ridge is usually a little, more like meadow sometimes, depends. Next.
But this one looks like a ridge,
The left one, right?
yes,
Yeah, but
because of the
Look, look here, peaks,
yes.
ridge line, very clearly visible, right? Low to high. Looking from low to high, we see the U shape.
Yeah,
from
U
low
shape.
to high, but it's connected with a peak, so it must be a ridge. And then in between, you'll see the opposite shape. You'll see the water. Initially, nothing is visible, but after a while, the water starts collecting from all these surrounding peaks here. It flows inside. And once we have enough flow, it will start cutting as an inverted U seen from low to high. Here
So
also.
are we seeing always from low to high? Is
Yeah,
that how we
that
see?
is the definition of U
But you
ridge.
can go to a peak and then identify the ridge and then from there.
Yeah.
get it.
So peaks, ridges will start from there. Look, all these ridges here, ridges, ridges, ridges. And in between you see some valleys dropping. This is a stream. It doesn't start here, it will start a little below the peaks usually, where you see from low to high. Peaks are always high, right? So low to the peaks is low to high. You'll see the inverted U as a valley, really visible. So please identify 3 valleys near Ringali, big valleys. Look at big inverted U's. And framework as a whole grid of ridges. And then on the next slide, you can add the valleys. Next slide, voila. So where ridges will split, valleys will join together and become bigger and bigger. The water flow increases from the beginning. These 3 joining, triple the water flow. This one will join another one. Here it joins another one. So as more and more water flow joins, the flow in the river increases. So it will become more difficult for you as a hiker to cross, right? If too much of snow melt or is melting in summer, or too much of rain is flowing in the valley. See the difference? The opposite, ridges split, drop down from peaks, valleys join, and start a little below. Valleys can never join at the ridgeline. There's no water here, so how can it cut? How can it create that inverted U pattern? You have to come down from the peaks, from the ridges, a little down, and at a certain moment you'll see this inverted U starting. That's where the water flow is able to cut into the landscape. Next.
Peter,
Yeah.
previous slide, please. So here, when you're planning the trail, you do we keep this into mind where to cross the river, or
Yeah,
How
so
would
we'll
you
come
know?
to that, right? So if you have to cross here, it'll be easy. Initially, say you come through a pass here, you come from this basin, and this is a basin actually.
what
So-
if you're traversing from left to right?
Yeah, left to right also. Here it's going to be easy because limited water flow. Here it's going to become more difficult to cross as you go downstream
Lower altitude.
Heavier.
because more and more water flow.
flow.
Usually when you cross a saddle, initially dry for a few hundred meters, then you'll see water popping up, right? Once there is enough water dripping through the meadows, rain sucks into the meadows and the forest gets slowly released, starts flowing. Same with snow. Snow melts as per the freezing line. So at a certain moment as you come down, you'll see running water, and as you keep coming down, it'll keep increasing, and at one moment you won't be able to cross the stream anymore. So you'll have to know clearly, should I proceed on the left, should I proceed on the right, because you might be stuck on one side without a bridge to cross the stream. Take a picture of this is important. Saddles or mountain passes for you, that's the way to cross over. Yeah. Voilà. So if you follow a ridge, it can die, but it can also keep going. Peak, ridge, peak, saddle, peak, saddle, peak, saddle. The ridge line can be steeper and gradual, but it'll go high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low.
But it makes no sense to actually hike like this, right? Because you're constantly climbing up and down and up and down.
Same thing. There's nothing that squeezes the toes. Of course, there is a bit less, more probability of impact, but as long as you're below 4,000 meters, you're not in rocky terrain. You're either in the tree line up till 3,000 meters, and 3 to 4,000 meters is meadow. So there's nothing that's gonna hit you actually if you're a little careful. It'll be super comfortable it'll be ventilated, fresh, flat, white, and it'll quickly dry if you walk through a stream.
But it will not give you protection against snake bites or other insect bites like that.
I haven't seen.
Shoes will also give you limited protection.
No,
No, shoes do give you protection from snake bites and all.
But there's no snakes in the.
Not too many snakes here.
Yeah, I mean, just a question that came to my mind.
In the Himalayas,
Right
no.
here, leeches.
Not the kind that.
Very less leeches, very less snakes. Dry. And a sock inside that, right? I put this over my normal socks. I stay warm, I can go through snow. Because I'm not gonna carry 5 kg snow boots, which you were carrying in BMCs and AMCs. I cannot do that. I'm not gonna do that because I don't need it. I'm lightweight, I'm already warm. Let this be soaking wet in a melting glacier. No problem. As long as you keep moving, you're warm. And if you keep it also a little bit dry, it's pretty comfortable based on many snow traverses. Next. Okay, so that's shoe wear from my perspective. If I send you up with a cotton t-shirt, with a fleece or a puff jacket, you're gonna sweat, you're gonna start stinking and sweating, and it'll affect your performance. You'll not be able to release the heat and ventilate your body. So you need to go dry fit as you go a little higher in steep terrain. I mean, a little faster in steep terrain. Next. Voila, ventilation, right? So you're gonna sweat a lot. So look at the steepness, you're climbing up steep. So you need to dissipate that heat. There has to always, your human people, what we work at, what is it, 38 degrees or something. You cannot overheat. Next. Voila, easy to wash. Okay, like dry fits, you just jump in the stream. You can even go naked and take your clothes, bang it on a rock here, just like the ladies in the village, and it'll be clean. You can carry a small soap, I don't do it. I just fling it 10 times on the rock. You will see all the dirt, you will see all the sweat going out. And I only use 2 sets. 1 set to wear, and 1 set for the night. 1 set that I wear always. You'll always see me in the same, whatever, orange or yellow or blue. And 1 I have to use for it to change, because otherwise this thing will become very smelly, and this is not easy to clean. It'll take 3 days to dry, this dow or this synthetic. So keep your sleeping bag always clean by having a clean night dress, and abuse this, wash this. Usually I do this when it's 12 o'clock, right? Sun nicely shining on top. I cannot do this in the morning, it's freezing, this water. So you need to again balance the cold of the water with the intensity of the midday sun. Next. Himmery pass on top there. Socks, same thing. Don't go for thick socks. Go for thin socks. It's easy to dry again as they're gonna get wet. These things rip apart quite soon because they are very thin, and you go through rough terrain. 2 pairs, as I told you. Every day you keep changing. They'll sting by the end of the day because you're mixing sweat with heat, with wetness. Closed shoe. It becomes quite messy down there, so change it every day, but only 2 pairs. There's no need to carry 10 pairs. You're not going to use 8 pairs, you're only going to use 2 pairs. Next.
What about grip of the socks?
Yeah, so that's more to do with the size of the shoe. If your shoe is 2 sizes too long, too big, then you're going to start slipping. Otherwise, I wouldn't say, if it's the right size, your shoe will keep your foot in place. So shoe size, not shoe size. Shoe size should be a little bigger if you're gonna go on these long traverses, because your feet are gonna expand. Like a marathon runner. You're not a runner, but you're like somebody who is down and up, so a lot of impact. So your feet will expand. Don't take the same shoe size as in the city. Right,